Okay, so thank you very much, Rachel, for agreeing to spend some time with me today for your Fab Business Club member showcase interview.
Absolute pleasure.
I've got a few questions to ask you. I'm asking everybody the same questions. So my first question is, how long have you been in business?
Oh, okay. So I have now been in business for 7 years. Gosh, it seems like it's quite a while. I started my business whilst I was still in full-time employment in the Air Force, but started it with a view to knowing that I wanted a flexible, a much more flexible lifestyle once I left full-time employment. So
Okay.
yeah, it's flown by.
So you mentioned that you were in full-time employment when you started your business. What inspired you to set up on your own then? What was the sort of flipping point that made you decide to get out of full-time employment?
Yeah, because when you're in military service, you've got a set engagement that you're serving for. So I always knew roughly when the end point was due to be. I had no aspirations whatsoever to be self-employed. I just knew that I needed a change in lifestyle to be there more for the children. You know, that moment when your 7-year-old says, "Mummy, why aren't you at the school gates like all the other mums?" You know, that sort of thing. And it was a bit of a happy accident. I had a friend who was in network marketing, so obviously something that you know very well. And she invited me along to have a look one week at their presentation. And I had no aspirations of joining. I didn't even really know what network marketing was, but I watched this presentation and I just saw a vehicle, first of all, to be able to earn potentially full-time income on part-time hours, but more than that, that your time's your own. You decide, so you can flex it around school runs and Christmas plays and, you know, all those things that I was missing out on.
Days and yeah.
Absolutely. So I signed up 2 days later, still having no clue what I was signing up for, really, but knowing, you know, it was health and well-being, which is something I've always been very interested in. And I just knew that it meant that my future would entail a more flexible way of living. And then over time, as I left the Air Force, that then morphed to include coaching and speaking, which is the focus of everything that I do. Which again almost seems like it was a bit of a happy accident, but one of those things that was meant to be. I think I needed to start where I started to get an idea and a feel for working for myself and how that worked, and, you know, to find out just how hard it can be and the reality behind it. But then I found something that, you know, I realized was my sole mission on this earth. So that then had to become the main focus of what I do. But I still do the health and well-being as well.
Yeah.
It's a more holistic approach now, particularly with the coaching. So
yeah, I think network marketing, multi-level marketing is an absolutely great way for people to dip their toe in the water of self-employment, because you've got the support of the bigger picture, the bigger company and the upline. And if you do it well and you've got a good upline, the world's your oyster. I think unfortunately there are a lot of people who think they're going to make loads of money without
doing anything. And it doesn't work like that, does it?
That's what gives it a bad rap. I think it's a shame. So you're speaking and you're coaching and you've got your wellness sort of thing going on. What would you say is your favorite thing about your work?
Wow. Okay. My favorite thing is, and I consider it a real privilege, to be privy to some really special moments that happen for people. You know, when they have those, I often talk about light bulb moments, you know, I'm sure we all do, but when you see that happen for someone and they realize that they can be what they want to be and that they don't have to hold themselves back anymore, it's just, I would do it for free if I didn't have bills to pay. It's such a magical thing to be privy to. And like I say, it's a real privilege. I mean, there's lots of other things that are great as well, but that has to be the absolute top thing for me.
No, I get that. So if that's your favorite thing about your work, what's your least favorite thing?
Oh, having to do things like accounts and like all that sort of stuff. If I could just coach and speak all the time, wow, that would just be incredible. I would enjoy every single moment. But all the back office stuff, that's not really my forte, shall we say. So
No.
yeah.
And it's so funny because every single person I've asked so far, that's the same answer. That's so funny. It's
I'm
so
not
funny.
surprised.
And obviously it's the first thing we all outsource, isn't it? As soon as we're making
Absolutely.
enough money to outsource, that's the first thing we all get rid of.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So my next question then is, what do you wish you knew then that you know now when you first started in business?
Wow. I think a huge part of how I feel about that would be comparisonitis. You know, comparing yourself to others, to other people's journeys. Let's face it, none of us truly know what's going on for someone else behind closed doors. We might see the facade on socials and all the rest of it. But it can be so easy to compare yourself to others. Well, they're successful, I'm not. Why am I not? Why am I not earning as much as them? You know, what's different? What's so great about them? They don't look that wonderful. I'm doing just the same stuff. I should be having the same success. And you can really, you know, it's a big stick you can beat yourself with. So if I could go back and tell myself, you know, don't beat yourself with that stick. Just focus on what you want to do, and don't worry about the rest. Then, you know, that would be wonderful.
I think it is. It's one of those really easy things to do, isn't it? And even though you know that it's like a daft thing to do, you still do it. And it's like, I know the thing for me with the Fab network, that all came about. It just all came to a head one weekend because I'd been getting myself into a hole and comparing myself to other people who I'd seen grow and who were at the same point as me at once. And I'm thinking, why? And then this you know, the Fab Business Club, the community was there at the back of me, and I've been putting it off, going, no, I'll keep going with what I'm doing. I'm not going to bring something new into my business. And then it was like this comparisonitis this particular weekend, and I ended up in a right grump, and then just thought, fuck it, I'm doing it. And
good for you.
Yeah, that was, you know, the turning point for me. But it was as a result of comparisonitis, because I'd been focusing on these other people who I'd been looking at and going, well, what are they doing that I'm, you know, what's going on there? Why can't I have some of that? You know, and it was like,
it can be really damaging, can't it, to your whole psyche around what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'd, you know, at that point I'd been in business about 8 years by then. You know, it wasn't like I was new to it. So it can bite you on the bum at any time, I think. So talking about the Fab Business Club then, obviously you were one of the very early founder members.
Yes.
I know. I really appreciate you taking that leap of faith with me. So what was it that inspired you to join and be one of those founder members? What was the thing that attracted you?
I guess there were a number of things. The biggest thing is you, because
really,
absolutely, because don't get emotional on me.
I won't.
But no, because your personality and the fact that, you know, ever since I've known you, because obviously we'd met prior to Fab, your attitude and the way that you come across, I love that no bullshit attitude. You know, what you see is what you get. And I think that's so important, because some of the other networking experiences I've had, not naming any names, I have had less than honest things going on, and I can't be doing with that. It's just not me. I want to be able to be who I am and be in a place where everyone else is doing the same thing and everyone accepts that and everyone gets on with it. And so I had to join straight away, because I knew, you know, and it was obvious from the first meeting that it was going to be a relaxed environment, which is great, but also really, really supportive. And that's probably one of the big things for me. It's very much about helping each other grow and not being in competition. So collaborating with others in the group, and everyone roots for everyone else, which is a great place to be. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. I'm really glad I did.
Oh, I've got goosebumps. I've got goosebumps when you say stuff like that. I think what's really important for me. It's that whole, when you think about the women who are in the group and the amazing, the collective wisdom,
Yes,
and it's just kind of like
absolutely.
you don't know an answer, or you're feeling away, and it's like, what about this, girls? And it's like there's
Yeah.
so much without any judgment, and I think that's
Yes,
the really important thing for me, that it's okay not to be okay, and everybody
absolutely.
is genuinely rooting for you. It's absolutely how I wanted it to be, and I'm
Yeah,
so chuffed, and that does make my heart sing when you say stuff like that. I'll pay you later.
yeah, bless you.
I'll give you your money later.
But that's how you've crafted it, Lisa. So it's no surprise that that's how it is.
Well, and hopefully, we as we grow, then more and more women will have,
Yes.
that kind of same feeling, and get the support and everything. So you've probably already covered it, really. But my next question, and I'm going to ask it anyway because I'm asking everybody the same questions, is what's your favourite thing about the Fab Business Club? If you have to pick one thing.
Oh, that's actually quite tough. One thing. Okay. Let's put me on the spot now. I think, and this is a difficult one to choose because there are quite a few things, but I would have to say the fact that there is a face-to-face meeting once a quarter, because you can get to know people pretty well online, and we have all the chat in between meetings in the group. But when you're then all actually in the same room and you can actually give someone a cuddle and see them face to face, I think for me that's been absolutely ideal about this network, is that it's a great hybrid of the online and the face to face, which coming out of the pandemic was very much something I was looking for. The online I love because you don't have to travel, it's got real time saver, fuel saver, but you can't beat face to face. And so the quarterly face to face meetings, that there have been a couple of occasions where I haven't perhaps been feeling my best, and obviously it's a bit of a trek, not far, but it's a bit of a trek from Lincoln to Nottingham, and I've considered, oh, should I go? I don't really feel like it. No, I'm going to go, because I know that when I walk in that room I will feel among friends, I will feel supported, and I will walk away with a huge smile on my face, and that happens every time. So
brilliant. I think that, and what I found really, really fascinating is that I genuinely thought, when I set it up with the 2 online meetings and then 1 face-to-face per quarter, I genuinely thought that the face-to-face meetings would be attracting people local to me who I knew from previous networking and so on and so forth. What I didn't expect was for my members who are joined all over the country, put the date in the diary and travel 2-3 hours upwards to come along for the day. And I just love how we, the meeting officially finishes at 1 o'clock, but it's more often than not we're leaving at 4.
Which is
so
brilliant.
The chat and the networking that goes on after the actual meeting is just as much something to look forward to, as far as
definitely
I'm concerned. Well, it's brilliant to have you on board, Rachel. I do genuinely appreciate you taking that leap of faith with me, because you knew what was going to happen. It was just a vision when I started it. It was kind of like, I'm going to do this. What do you come along for the ride if you think it's going to be, and it's been great that I've had so many people join me and then renew into a second year, and that's been great. So back to you then, in your business, how can people get hold of you if they do want to know more about your work and how you work, what the kind of things you do in terms of, you've mentioned speaking and coaching, but how do you actually work with people? If somebody thought, oh, I like the cut of her jib, I fancy working with that Rachel woman, what does she do?
Okay. Well, I guess first things first then, the website, inspiredlifegroup.co.uk, that's got all my contacts on it and all the things that I do. I work with people in a couple of different ways. So I work with clients one-to-one. I think one-to-one will always be a fundamental part of my coaching business, because when you're working with someone one-to-one, you really can, you can go that bit deeper and create that space for someone to be able to open up and, you know, really work out what's going on for them, which is brilliant. But I do also work with people in groups, because I love the group dynamic and, you know, the rapport that you build up. And I've got a 10-month group coaching and personal development program as well, which starts again in November, actually. And the idea of that, it's a small enough group that everyone has a voice, because it's limited to 6 people. But it's big enough that it creates that group dynamic. And as people get to know each other through that journey that they're on together, you know, through the closed group that comes with it, they then start to support each other as well. So it becomes a mutual supportive space, and a community. I mean, it's called the Inspired Life Collective, because the idea is that people become that collective. And, you know, I tend to find they'll stay in touch afterwards because they've had such an experience together. So those are really the main ways that I work with people. And obviously, well, not obviously, obvious to me, not obvious to anybody else. But I do a few other bits around that, things like well-being workshops. So I've delivered those in a variety of sort of corporate and community settings. And it can be, sometimes it's a course of 4, perhaps on a topic like mindfulness, or they can be one-off workshops, you know, resilience, or all the different sorts of well-being topics that you can probably, that come to mind. I've got workshops that I tend to deliver on those subjects as well. So again, I really enjoy that because it's one to many. So again, when you get the questions and answers and you know, the rapport going with people, you can get some conversation going around the topic, which I always find is really useful. So,
and I think, you know, the great thing is when it's your own business, you can pick and choose what you want to do, can't you, and build it so that it suits you.
Absolutely.
And you like all the bits.
Yes.
So to your website, then follow you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, Instagram. I'm on most of the social channels, but probably the most active on LinkedIn. And of course, with another fantastic member of the FAB Business Club, myself and Jenny Gordon obviously do the Rennie Show once a fortnight, which is on YouTube. So if anyone wants to have a listen to us talk about life, the universe, and everything, then find me on YouTube.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today, Rachel.
It's been a pleasure.
I look forward to hearing you, because you're actually speaking at the next face-to-face meeting, aren't you, in September?
Very much looking forward to it.
So if anybody's watching this before the 13th of September 2023, then you will be able to hear Rachel speaking at the face-to-face network meeting in Nottingham on the 13th of September. So thank you so much, Rachel, and I'll see you soon.
Will do. Looking forward to it.